Good evening and welcome to our broadcast tonight from wherever it is you're watching us from. This is the Daily Report and we are coming to you live from Nairobi, Kenya to the counties of Kenya, the region and beyond. To give you an idea of what we have in store for you that we've gathered throughout this day, here are the highlights. Tonight, investigations into the Kericho mass grave have taken a new twist, with the DCI confirming that all 33 bodies exhumed were linked to a single hospital. A standoff is brewing between governors and security agencies, with county chiefs accusing the police of colluding with senators in what they claim is a coordinated effort to intimidate and undermine devolved units. And after sections of Gikomba Market were demolished to pave way for the Nairobi River Restoration Project, there has been backlash from traders and opposition leaders. We begin now. Once again, my name is Victor Muyakane, and on sign language we have Catherine Simaloy. A standoff between governors and the Senate is intensifying, with the county chiefs now accusing the police service of political interference. The governors claim that the Inspector General is colluding with senators in what they describe as a coordinated scheme to intimidate and embarrass county leadership. This comes as Johnson Sakaja, the Nairobi governor, while appearing before the CPAC committee, dismissed claims that he had gone into hiding after police reportedly surrounded City Hall last night. Our reporter Mike Kagwongo has more on the escalating standoff.
The deepening standoff between governors and senators is now spilling into the security sector, with the Council of Governors accusing the Inspector General of Police of acting on alleged Senate influence without due process. Speaking in Nairobi Tuesday afternoon, governors claims there was no lawful arrest warrant issued against Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja, arguing that officers deployed to City Hall were acting on a Senate clerk's letter rather than legal orders.
We have decided to zero down to this particular committee because of the grave issues we raised with respect to the conduct of certain members of that committee. Governors continue to appear in all the other committees of Senate.
This 13th Parliament.
The governors have also faulted Senate Speaker Amason Kingi for failing to resolve the impasse, warning that the ongoing confrontation risk undermining constitutional oversight.
Certain members of the leadership continue telling us, yes, we hear you, we need to talk, but on the other hand, the committee continues behaving in a very intransigent manner.
If it were possible for that committee to write to governors and say, we have invited you to come and speak, however, the following 4 senators will not be in the committee, we will appear.
Meanwhile, Governor Johnson Sakaja has dismissed claims that he went into hiding during the attempted arrest, stating he had already left his office by the time police arrived in the evening.
Why come to my office at night? I was in the office the whole day. Who is in the office at 7? At City Hall. I was in the office the whole day.
Sakaja, who on Tuesday afternoon appeared before the Senate, insists he is not evading accountability, but adhering to the collective position of the Council of Governors, even as he calls for dialogue to de-escalate the crisis.
Let's have different regions dealt with by different subcommittees instead of just one. And that's a discussion we've had even when I was in the Senate. You know, let's have clusters, yeah, to deal with different areas. Because imagine you have a deadline. You've called 29 people in one day. When I come here, you've been here. I sit here for the whole day from morning to evening. How about 29?
The stalemate now raises concerns over a growing institutional clash that could redefine the relationship between county governments and the Senate. Mike Kagwongo, TV47, Nairobi.
Kenya's voter registration drive is gaining momentum as the Tuko Kadi movement spreads from urban centers to rural areas, with thousands of young people stepping forward to take part in shaping next year's general election. What began as a grassroots initiative has now evolved into a nationwide push, highlighting growing youth interest in civic participation and democratic processes.
In Nakuru County, young people flocked to registration centres, determined to make their voices heard in the 2027 general election. Organisers emphasised that the campaign is not politically funded, but a grassroots effort to ensure every voice counts. Nominated Senator Crystal Lasige urged inclusivity, stressing that persons with disabilities must be fully involved in the democratic process.
Tumekuwa Nairobi, tumekuwa Kirinyaga na tumekuwa eneo mingi, lakini hatujakuwa Nakuru. Hili ni kusema kuwa tuko kadi ama vuguvugu la tuko kadi sila Nairobi. Sasa tuko kadi mashinani, tuko Nakuru. Tukitoka Nakuru tutaenda kwingine.
Vijana walikuwa wamepewa kuna kitu apathy, kuambiwa hata mkipiga kura itawasaidia. Watu walienda kwa streets wakauliwa, na watu wengi walikuwa wanatafuta bullet revolution. So many people did not believe in democratic way of expressing themselves. So sasa ndio kwa maana tuko hapa kuactivate.
Huwa tunasema walemavu lazima pia wachukue kura, ni lazima. Tuko milioni mingi hapa hii Kenya, na tunasema ya kwamba hata kama sisi ni walemavu, kura zetu hazina ulemavu. So why not include us? And that's what niliwaambia. Tuko kadi group movement, and walitupokea sana. Tuko hapa pia walemavu ambao tunachukua kura, na wataendelea kufanya hivyo across the country.
Kajiado County reported huge turnout, with officials noting that the initial target of 6,000 registrations may be surpassed. Residents expressed relief at the accessibility of ID services, which previously required long, costly journeys. Chiefs and parents were called upon to mobilize youth to complete the process early.
Watu wamejitokeza kwa wingi sana. Kufikia saa hii tumeregister watu karibu 6,000. Kwa hivyo tunaona kuwa ikifika siku ya Alhamisi, wakati tutamaliza hii zoezi, tutakuwa hata tumepitisha ile idadi ya watu wenye tunatakana tuwe tumejiandikisha.
As from us, the Gen Zs, tumekuwa tukingoja hii for a long time. So tunashukuru kwa leo at least tumepata.
Bungoma County saw enthusiastic participation, with the IBC expecting to register over 73,000 new voters. IBC manager Grace Rono confirmed that 162 kits have been distributed across all 45 wards to meet demand, with the youth saying it is the right time to take responsibility.
Nimekuja kuchukua kura kwa sababu it will be my first time voting, na tunataka kuchagua viongozi wenye sisi vijana tunataka wakue.
Vijana wenye wako 18 years and above na mko na ID wakuje wachukue kadi, tukue kadi, ndo time ya kura ikifika, time ya kupiga kura ikifika, tupige viongozi wenye tunataka kura.
Meanwhile, the Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs, JLAC, convened a retreat with IBC, the judiciary and other stakeholders to strengthen preparations for 2027. Commissioner Dr. Litalala Mukona emphasized the urgent need for investment in voter education and communication, warning that misinformation could erode trust in democracy.
As this happens, the IEBC is facing fresh scrutiny from opposition leaders who accuse it of frustrating voter registration efforts in their strongholds. Speaking during their Ukambani tour, leaders including Kalonzo Musyoka alleged that the government is limiting access to national identification documents in opposition strongholds. At the same time, Rigathi Gachagua has intensified criticism of the government, calling for urgent action to address corruption in the health sector.
During their stop in Kavonzweni, Makueni County, the opposition members intensified attacks on President William Ruto's administration. They accused both the government and the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, of running a biased voter registration drive, claiming the imbalance stems from delays in the issuance of IDs in areas deemed as opposition strongholds.
Wewe William Ruto, hakikisha vijana hapa Kalonzweni wakienda kuomba kiti, wakienda kuchukua kura ama kuchukua kitambulisho, itoke haraka vile unaagiza kule kwenu itoke.
Tunashukuru vijana wetu na ile Niko Card Initiative, sababu sasa vijana wamejitokeza, na wakati wanajitokeza IEBC is letting us down sababu ya insufficient equipment, sababu ya failing equipment in some areas.
Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka also aimed at President William Ruto, accusing him of allegedly issuing IDs to foreigners with questionable character.
Kama maharamia wajulikana huko nje ya Sudan, wanapigana huko, wanaharibu nchi yao, wakija huko wanapatiwa passport, wanapatiwa kitambulisho, na watu wetu wenyewe halisi wananyimwa haki yao.
Despite these concerns, the opposition expressed confidence, declaring that next year's general election will be a clean sweep for the opposition.
Wasaliti ya jamii, UDA,
Beyond the IEBC complaints, DCP leader Rigathi Gachagua urged President William Ruto to crack the whip on alleged corruption in the SHA insurance scheme and the e-citizen platform.
Kama wewe uko na integrity vile unasema Adwa Ndwale, rudisha hiyo online platform every day, ilionyeshe pesa ya SHA inalipwa wapi kila siku, ndio Wakenya wajue.
The opposition's Ukambani tour is set to roll into its third day on Wednesday. Sydney Chazema, TV47.
A section of Gikomba Market has been reduced to rubble following overnight demolitions by the government after a relocation deadline expired. The exercise is part of efforts to reclaim riparian land along the Nairobi River and pave way for the construction of a modern market valued at 3.8 billion shillings. Our reporter, Michelle Mwangi, has the details.
The once busy section of Gikomba Market now lies in ruins following demolitions that took place on the night of 30th March. The operation, carried out at around 1 a.m, saw security officers move in to enforce a government directive issued earlier, giving traders until 30th March to vacate the area.
Tunaambiwa ya kwamba lazima tuondokee soko kiasi fulani ya mto na ambayo inakubalika hiyo riparian land.
Even as the demolitions pave the way for redevelopment, concerns remain, with many traders arguing that the designated holding ground may not accommodate everyone, with its capacity estimated at around 4,000 traders, below the 6,300 traders operating in the shoe section.
Na nimeenda kwa nyumba nikiwa na usuni ili najua watoto wangu na wesetu tunaenda kuraraja. Hii serikali inatufikisha wapi? Wala inatuelekeza wapi?
Leo hii ni familia ngapi italala njaa? Leo hii ni familia ngapi itafungua nyumba? Leo ni mwisho wa mwezi, inafaa tulipe nyumba.
Tumekasirika sana kwa sababu ukienda ile side soko zimetengenezwa karibu na mto. Huku tumebomolewa, tumeambiwa tunatolewa kwa mto. Sasa tofauti iko wapi?
Hapa wale wanafanya biashara ng'ambo hii ni watu zaidi ya watu zaidi ya 5,000. Na zile viwanja pale ni viwanja 2,000. Sasa watu watasaidika vipi?
This as a section of leaders continue to show support for the affected traders.
Jana asubuhi, leo asubuhi, serikali wanaamka, county government inaamka, wanabomolea watu wa biashara zao.
Away from the rubble, the government is defending the exercise, stating the relocation is part of a broader plan to restore dignity and order at Gikomba Market.
We're going to invest close to 3.8 billion shillings around that entire ecosystem to do the markets, to do the sewer lines around Gikomba.
Lakini others, they are very willing to shift and very ready to work. They are very strong to work. And from tomorrow morning, you will see them kama wameanza kazi yao.
Construction of the new market is expected to take between 4 to 6 months, during which traders will be required to operate from the temporary holding ground. Following the midnight demolitions at the Gikomba Market, the government now says the restoration is part of a broader plan to restore order and build a new modern market. Michelle Mwangi, TV47, Nairobi.
Now, investigations into the discovery of dozens of bodies at a cemetery in Kericho continue, with 3 suspects released while 3 others remaining in custody. DCI Director Amin Mohammed says that only 13 bodies have so far been cleared for disposal, as forensic analysis continues at the Nyamira Teaching and Referral Hospital mortuary. Samira Mohammed with more.
The Kericho mass grave site, a deeply troubling discovery that has shaken many across the country. Behind each uncovered grave, here lies a story, one that demands justice, transparency and respect. DCI boss Mohammed Amin made a significant visit to the Kericho mass grave site Tuesday morning. According to the DCI boss, the exhumations uncovered 33 bodies and 6 body parts, which includes 26 fetuses and 8 adults. Among the remains were even amputated limbs.
Under the direct supervision of the Office of the Chief Government Pathologist, represented by Dr. Richard Njoroge and Dr. Donna Nyamunga, together with my DCI forensic team, yielded 33 bodies.
Amin says the inquiry now extends beyond mere discovery, as authorities are now examining whether the land used for this disposal is officially gazetted as a cemetery.
The unclaimed bodies had been transported from Nyamira Teaching and Referral Hospital mortuary and buried under circumstances that required very thorough and professional investigations.
According to Amin, there were failures not just in the Nyamira mortuary, but also in the processes overseen by the National Council of Churches of Kenya Kericho branch, which manages the cemetery. The chief mortician at the facility is among 3 people who are still being held by authorities.
These findings, therefore, point to serious lapses in mortuary protocols, serious lapses in documentation and oversight at Nyamira Teaching and Referral Hospital mortuary, as well as irregularities in the burial process at the Makoborini Cemetery, owned by the National Council of Churches of Kenya.
The court had authorized disposal of only 13 bodies from the Nyamira facility.
The 13 unclaimed bodies comprised 8 adults, 1 child, and 3 fetuses, along with 1 twin fresh stillbirth.
Amin further revealed that investigators acquired serious evidence, including a CCTV footage at the Nyamira County Referral Hospital mortuary, showing a senior morgue attendant loading 4 bags of bodies into a white Land Cruiser, pointing to a serious lapses in the mortuary and burial procedures.
4 bags were loaded into a white Toyota Land Cruiser, registration number GKA 549L, by Jason Mochara Nyarbi, who is the chief mortician of the referral hospital.
Nyamira County Governor Amos Nyaribo has also confirmed that the county only authorized the disposal of 13 bodies in Kericho, where they made a payment of 32,000 shillings to facilitate what he referred to as a routine procedure they have followed for years. As investigations unfold, tough questions remains. Questions that seeks answers for a community searching for closure. Samira Mohammed for TV47, Kericho.
And still keeping with something of a similar theme, the DCI boss, Amin Mohammed, has assured the public that investigations into the mysterious death of a 3-year-old child, Faiz Faraj, have been intensified. Amin says that appropriate legal action will be taken if the school is found culpable, even as the parents continue to fault the institution over what they term as contradictory statements surrounding the incident. Stanley Nyaringita tells us more.
This was the situation outside the Directorate of Criminal Investigations office at Gilgil as parents pitched camp demanding answers over the mysterious death of Faiz Faraj.
Justice for baby Faiz.
It is alleged that the child drowned last week in a fish pond at Gilgil Hills Primary School, but the family accuses the school of issuing conflicting statements regarding the incident.
Tunataka tujue walimu wameongea, mlinda lango wameongea, yule watchman alikuwa hapo. Tunataka tujue mtoto alitolewa saa ngapi, alitolewa na nani, alitolewa na wapi, alifika hospitali akiwa hali gani, na alipofika hospitali alichukuliwa hatua gani.
Alichukulie hatua na iweze kufanya uchunguzi wa kutosha ili pia wazazi waweze kuridhika. Maana kuna mambo tatanishi ambayo tunapata ambayo hayaingiani.
This comes even as the Director of Criminal Investigations, DCI, has assured the public that the matter is under investigation.
Postmortem ilipofanywa haijamalizika. Bado kuna part ambaye tutapeleka vitu kwa government chemist. Bado hatujapeleka, lakini tutapeleka kesho vitu zingine za toxicology katika maabara ili tuweze kujua.
I've also personally gotten in touch with the area member of parliament, Honorable Mother, and asked her and reassured her that the National Police Service has taken that matter very, very seriously. And in the event that the investigations establish any negligence on the part of the institution or any of the employees of that institution, then appropriate legal action will be taken.
As police continue to piece together what transpired at the incident at the fish pond that led to the death of the 3-year-old, calls have intensified over the safety of students in schools.
Former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua is once again at the center of a national debate, with his persistent criticism of the government raising questions about motive and timing. While some view his revelations as bold whistleblowing, others argue that these are part of a calculated political strategy ahead of the election next year. So analysts say that Gachagua appears to be positioning himself in the opposition space long associated with Raila Odinga, even as the ruling UDA party dismisses his attacks as politically driven. Let's take a look at it.
Once a key insider in the Kenya Kwanza administration, until his impeachment in October 2024. Former Deputy President and DCP party leader Rigathi Gachagua has now emerged as one of the fiercest critics of President William Ruto's administration, riding on his truthful man mantra.
E-Citizen, Kasongo owns 80%. Wameiba 6.3 billion. Imetolewa cash from Equity Bank.
When he was deputy president, the things he said and did internally, the levels of greed and ethnicity that he had. But now he's even more bitter. When a bitter, sulking human being is put out there.
In recent weeks, Gachagua has made a series of explosive claims, alleging a hostile takeover of public companies and linking the president to commercial interests in state tenders. His assertions have sparked a national debate on whether he is acting as a genuine whistleblower, defending public interest, or settling political scores after his fallout with the regime.
Those short 2 years he was the deputy president, he appears to have established serious networks which is able to feed him correct information, because there is nothing Gachagua has said that is not accurate so far.
His whistleblower posture has rattled President Ruto and the entire UDA machinery, while drawing keen interest from political observers. Analysts argue that Gachagua is steadily positioning himself as the country's de facto opposition leader, potentially stepping into the space once occupied by the late Raila Odinga, known for his persistent clashes with past governments and exposure of major scandals.
Probably, in my opinion, more lethal in exposing government misgovernance than Raila, because he is also more eloquent.
Gachagua maintains that his claims are backed by insider intelligence from within the broad-based government, a strategy reminiscent of Odinga's approach in holding previous administrations to account.
I have information that SHA will collapse in another 6 months, and we'll have a crisis of unknown magnitude in the health sector.
President Ruto and his allies have intensified their attacks, branding Gachagua as a tribalist, divisive, and fraudulent figure. The latest allegation accuses him of forging the will of his late brother Derito Gachagua, claims that Gachagua has strongly denied. Apul Kamau, TV47.
Concerns are mounting over fuel availability in the country. This even as the government insists that supplies remain sufficient. Reports of shortages are emerging from several regions, including Lodwar, where motorists are struggling to access fuel. This report was prepared by Moluse Meshak.
Fear of a possible fuel shortage has continued to grow among Kenyans following reports of long queues at some petrol stations and limited availability of the commodity. This situation has disrupted transport and business activities in several areas, with some drivers and traders complaining about the difficulty of accessing fuel.
Na mimi 7 hours sijabeba mtu hata moja, na mimi kazi yangu ni bodaboda. Sasa nitafanya kazi gani? Kwa sababu watu wamepeana hiyo makazi ingine ya bodaboda imebaki. Ndio hii mmetunyima mafuta. Mnataka tuende tuibe?
Mimi nashangaa nitaenda wapi bila mafuta? Pikipiki niko nayo haina mafuta, ndafanya aje? Nimeshinda hapa mchana mzima. Kweli rais, sikia kilio yetu na utusaidie tafadhali.
As the challenge continues to affect different regions, the government has issued a clarification urging citizens not to panic. The Cabinet Secretary for Energy Opiyo Wandayi stated that the country has sufficient fuel reserves and has not experienced any stockout so far.
As we speak, we have enough stocks of all the petroleum products and gas and LPG to last us for the many days that are coming.
Wandayi further explained that the government is working closely with international suppliers and local companies to ensure a steady supply of fuel. He added that the government-to-government supply system has been strengthened and is capable of withstanding global market shocks.
There are a number of countries, especially in Africa, which have run out of petroleum products. And yet in Kenya, we have not had any incident of a stockout.
The government has reiterated that there is no need for panic, while Wandayi warned fuel traders against hoarding, stating that strict legal action will be taken against those who violate the law.
Surrogacy is emerging as a fast-growing but largely unregulated industry in Kenya, raising complex legal and ethical questions. The proposed Assisted Reproductive Technology Bill, currently before Parliament, seeks to establish a legal framework for the practice. However, surrogate mothers are now pushing back against sections of the bill, insisting that surrogacy services should remain commercialized. Elizabeth Atieno tells us more.
Priscilla Wairimo is a surrogate mother. She has delivered 2 babies through surrogacy, but her journey, which began in 2020, has had its hits and misses. After 3 failed procedures, she finally had a successful surrogacy in 2022.
Nilizalishwa na daktari alinionyesha she's a baby girl. Na nikaona. Then akapeleka room maybe ya kuchenchiwa, kubadilishwa. Wazazi wake walikuwa area ni kama si distance, nika tukutoka hapa na nje. Wako private room. Mimi nimalize. The doctor amenizalisha, mama mwenye alikuwa in charge, ahandove mtoto kwa wazazi. Then mimi nikae hosi 2 days, niangaliwe like 2 days. Huyo daktari amenizalisha mama mkubwa wa hospitali. Hata niletea check ya pesa zangu. Tumemalizana hivyo. No communication, no anything. Hata sijawaona, hata siwajui hapo.
The rampant stigma has not deterred their quest of giving life to a family that cannot have a child of their own.
Nakaa ghetto. And kabla uelimishe mtu wa ghetto what is your surrogates, wataelewa hivyo. Wakikosa na mtoto obvious they will say wewe uza watoto.
The surrogate mother go through agents who act as the link between the surrogate mother and the intended parents, who are not allowed to meet at any point.
Kuna percentage utakata once umetaka kumjua hata uko na shida gani.
For surrogate mothers, there is another factor.
Suache. Hiyo hata nisiongea hapa. Let me say it's a token. Ni 800,000 per after umezaa. Monthly 45. Na maybe kuna wazuri watakutafutia house girl, watalipa na pesa yao. Mwingine atakuandikia debt, mwingine atakulipia nyumba. but upate kama itapita kwa agent, lazima atakukulia pale. Wana adabu, wataambia msichana hata 500,000. Yeah, 500, wengine 400 at monthly 15 na uchumi ya sai.
Suba North Member of Parliament Millie Odhiambo has tabled the Assisted Reproductive Technology ART bill in Parliament. While the bill seeks to regulate assisted reproductive services, some surrogate mothers say they are uncomfortable with certain provisions, including the proposed ban on financial compensation for surrogacy, and insist that they must be paid for their services.
Iwezi kuwa bure. In fact, anafaa aitetee iongezewe pesa.
Surrogate mothers maintain that surrogacy rights are human rights, and therefore the proposed regulation should ensure that they are not exploited and their freedom should never be curtailed. Elizabeth Atieno, TV47, Nairobi.
And on that note, we want to take a breather. When we come back, we will have more for you. Please keep it right here on the home of Untold Stories.
Refisha ushinde. Open and save in your KCB Gold Savings account and win. Refisha ushinde. KCB, for people, for better.
Azam TV, your favorite pay TV, just got even better. Effective 1st March 2026, we have added 5 amazing new TV channels to keep you entertained day and night. AMC Movies and Nolly Africa for the best of Nollywood movies and series. Music Box Hits and Music Box Dance for non-stop music hits and dance. And Manchester United TV for football fans. More movies, more music, more sports, all in one place.
Welcome back. If you're joining us right now, this is still the Daily Report with me, Victor Muyakane, and Catherine Simaloy on Sign Language. We proceed. The government has extended the nationwide Nyota mentorship program, revealing that over 120,000 youth have already received startup capital, with the majority launching businesses already. This has raised both optimism and questions about the sustainability of this project as the second phase rolls out. The program, now active across 1,450 wards across the country, shows that most beneficiaries are first-time entrepreneurs, with key investments concentrated in agriculture, retail and small-scale enterprises, even as authorities push for full participation ahead of the next round of training and funding. With a second tranche of funding expected before the end of April and additional training scheduled mid-month, attention now turns to whether the continued mentorship and financial support will translate into long-term viable businesses for Kenya's youth.
What we've acquired from the World Bank is a loan that will be paid back, but we get this loan to support our development initiatives, of which developing young people, enabling them, providing them with an opportunity for economic empowerment is also a development agenda. So it's a loan that will be paid over time. And one of the returns of paying, how do we pay back the debts that we have, foreign debts, including even the loans, the concessional loans from development partners, World Bank, and many of those institutions? When we generate revenue, how do we generate revenue in this country? When these young people, over 100,000 of them, if they engage into businesses, they expand the tax bracket. Now we have a lot of business engagement there. People buy, they sell, they make profit. and that's how we get the revenue that then meets our debt obligation.
A family in Naivasha in Nakuru County is grieving nearly a week after their loved one drowned in Lake Nakuru, with the body yet to be recovered. 33-year-old Daniel Muriu is reported to have drowned on March the 21st, and the family is now calling on the Nakuru County government to assist in the search, claiming that they have only been allowed 2 hours at a time by the management of Lake Nakuru National Park to look for the body. Mike Chalo with the details.
For more than 1 week now, the family of Daniel Muiru has been living in an uncertainty and deep grief following the disappearance of their kin.
Alipotea kwa maji on Sunday. Na tumekuja hapa kila siku. Tumetoa gharama kubwa sana lakini hatujafaidika. Tunaomba county government na national government watusaidie ili tuweze kupata mwili wetu, kwa sababu wenye walikuwa wanafua na yeye wanajua pahali aliangukia.
After reports by fellow fishermen that he drowned in the lake while fishing, the family says they have neither been given enough time to search for his body nor got inadequate support from the county government. They further claim that the management of Lake Nakuru National Park has only been allowing them 2 hours at a time to conduct the search.
Serikali ambao tulichagua ya kaunti ya Nakuru ina uwezo wa kutoa madaiva waende pale watafute huu mwili. Maana huu mwili wa mtu. Haiwezekani mwili wa mtu unapotelea pale, huu mtoto hana wazazi, ana watu wanamtegemea.
Kama huyu mtoto angekuwa watajiri, ukiona vile hiyo leki ikefunguliwa haraka haraka. Lakini sasa maskini wanalialia na ndio wao wanavote. Kwa hivyo mimi nimesema ya kwamba wacha familia iruhusiwe itafute mwili. Wale fishermen wako pale ni mamilioni. Walitoka Lake Naivasha wakakuja hapo.
The family now find itself at crossroads, uncertain whether to continue holding on to hope of recovering the body or to proceed with the symbolic burial as a way of finding closure and laying Daniel Muiru to rest.
Kuna ule muda ambao utaisha. Huo muda ukiisha kama mwili haujapatikana, itatubidi tuzike ule mgomba wa ndizi pale mahali baada ya kijana wetu. Lakini hiyo sio furaha yetu.
Hatungetaka kuona akiuzika mgomba wa ndizi katika shamba lake ati huyo ndio mwili wa kijana wake ama kijana wao. Niombe tu ya kwamba yule ambaye anaweza kuwa na usaidizi hata kama ni rais wa taifa la Kenya aingilie hili jambo kati ili tusaidie hii familia.
Mike Chelo, TV47.
3 schools in Gem constituency of Siaya County have received buses worth over 25 million shillings, courtesy of the National Government Constituencies Development Fund, or NGCDF. Presiding over the handover, Gem CDF chairperson Ogam Maramba said, or rather representing the area MP Elisha Odhiambo said, that Nyawara Girls, Wagai Secondary and Kambare Secondary schools were awarded the buses after posting strong academic performances. He noted that the donation fulfills a pledge by the MP to reward schools that improve their mean scores. Ogam revealed that the bus for Nyawara Girls cost 6.3 million shillings, while those for Wagai and Kambare secondary schools cost 9.6 million shillings each. Speaking at Wagai Secondary School grounds, he said that the buses will support academic tours and will also serve the local community when needed. He added that the GEM NGCDF remains committed to improving school infrastructure, highlighting the completion of a story building at Wagai Secondary and an ongoing construction of an ablution block at Nyawara Girls.
This is for purposes of ensuring that we improve mobility, not only for purposes of academic tours, but also to ensure that the community around, both Central Game Nyawara, Wagai Secondary School, West Game, and South Game Kambare, have access to these buses for their use, as and when they need them through the principal. This is a fulfillment of a pledge that the MP gave to our schools, not only in Game Wagai sub-county, but also in Game Yala sub-county, that any school that will have excelled in academic performance, especially by improving their mean grade from where it is to the next level, they will be given a bus. Wagai Secondary School is one of the schools that was promised this bus, and today Mheshimiwa Elisha has delivered. Wape makofi ya Mheshimiwa Elisha.
Leading tech company Safaricom is deepening its push into artificial intelligence, fintech, and the next generation digital systems through its Decode 4.0 forum, positioning itself at the center of Kenya's evolving tech landscape. The company has now shifted gears to showcase how AI-driven tools, innovative financial technologies, and connected platforms are being applied to real-world challenges. The initiative also highlights growing focus on cybersecurity as digital adoption accelerates.
Artificial intelligence is increasingly being deployed in practical applications, enabling automation, predictive analytics, and smarter decision-making across sectors.
That ambition has grown into a movement. What started as a platform to showcase engineering and build social talent has grown into something more transformative, and not just in Kenya, but beyond.
In financial services, creative fintech solutions are expanding beyond basic transactions to offer more inclusive and user-driven products that cater to underserved populations.
Around the world, artificial intelligence is being described as a new digital species, something that will sit alongside us in every workflow and every decision.
Meanwhile, the Internet of Things is gaining ground with connected devices, improving efficiency in industries such as agriculture, transport, and urban planning. Hibak Saeed for TV47.
Britam Holdings has reported an 8% rise in pre-tax profit to 7.9 billion shillings for 2025. This was driven by higher insurance revenue, investment income, and cost efficiency. Insurance revenue grew by 11% to 41.7 billion, while investment assets reached 220.7 billion. The firm's CEO, Tom Gitogo, said that the results reflect resilience and digital progress.
Our focus on customers continued to bear fruits, and in many of our businesses, we were growing faster than the market. And as the chair said, our customer count is upwards of 6 million.
When you look at the key drivers of that profitability, under the insurance revenue, we did record an 11% growth to close at 41.6 billion. And out of this 41.6 billion, 28% of that came from the regions, which means we are running a very well diversified business.
The Kenya Tourism Board is targeting increased passenger traffic during the April to September peak travel period by offering flight discounts of up to 8% on the national carrier for travellers paying with Visa cards. The KTB says that the move is aimed at stimulating both domestic and inbound travel while enhancing convenience through digital payments. The offer is expected to boost seat uptake and strengthen revenue performance during high-demand travel months.
Collaboration will enable the three institutions jointly to design and execute targeted campaigns that promote Kenya both locally and internationally, leveraging combined rich platforms and expertise to drive visitors' numbers and enhance destination visibility across our key source markets. A core pillar of this partnership is the use of data and analytics to inform decision-making and unlock tourism growth. This will leverage Visa's global insights on travel and spending patterns. KTB and KQ will gain access to destination-specific intelligence that will also shape more precise marketing strategies.
Now time for sports, and Harambee Stars have returned to the country from Rwanda, where they took part in the FIFA series. Kenya suffered a narrow defeat to Estonia, going down 5-4 on penalties on Friday, before bouncing back with an impressive 3-0 victory over Grenada in their final match. Hosts Rwanda emerged as the standout side in the tournament, securing wins against both Estonia and Grenada. Harambee Stars used the tournament as part of their preparations for the 2027 Africa Cup of Nations, which will be co-hosted by Kenya, Uganda and Tanzania. Harambee Starlets head coach Beldine Odemba has unveiled a 31-player provisional squad for the inaugural FIFA Women's Series, scheduled for April the 11th to the 15th of this year in Nairobi. The four-nation tournament will be staged at Nyayo National Stadium, with Kenya set to face Australia, India and Malawi. Players are expected to report to camp on April the 1st in preparation for the competition. Among the standout inclusions is Marion Serenge, who earns her first senior call-up after impressing at the FIFA Under-17's Women World Cup and maintaining fine form with Sanoa FC in Uganda, where she has scored 6 goals in 5 matches. The squad also sees the return of Terry Engesha, whose performances for Kenya Police Bullets have earned her a recall, alongside Mercy Airo, who has been in strong form with Ulinzi Starlets. Nairobi United will face Mara Sugar tomorrow at Kasarani Annex in Nairobi. Nairobi United head into the clash after a barren draw against APS Bomet last weekend, while Mara Sugar also settled for a 1-1 draw against KCB. Meanwhile, Gor Mahia remain top of the league standings with 56 points after 25 matches, just ahead of AFC Leopards.
Tomorrow is a very, very tough match, and for us, we take it very positive, and we take it as a very, very important match. So we are going to approach it very positively, and we are prepared for tomorrow's match.
I think kila mtu ako ready, because si wote nataka to win, nataka turudi kwa winning ways, so siwezi sema hiyo ndio excuse. Kesho lazima kila mtu give 100+. Tuna expect haitakuwa mechi rahisi, lakini nataka kila mtu give 100+, then tutapata result tunataka.
A Ruai resident is celebrating a life-changing windfall after turning a modest 20-shilling bet into 1 million shillings on the Aviator game on 9UBet. Nevin Cheye, a casual construction worker and father of one, struck it big after months of consistent play, describing the win as a fateful breakthrough that has inspired plans for long-term investment.
Hii pesa nimewin, nataka kununua shamba, nijenge na nifungue biashara. Ni ile saiba na feel kama bado pressure iko juu, unaona. Na feel kama bado pressure iko juu, bado haije.
Washindi wetu ambao tutamsaidia sana kwa financial literacy, tutamweleza jinsi ambavyo anaweza tumia pesa zake, tutamweleza vile familia pia. Sasa unajua kuna pesa kidogo kiingia unaweza iharibu mahali. Tutamshikilia mkono, tutamwonyesha what to do, tutamsaidia kabisa. Tukisema play responsibly, pia tunasema ya kwamba always play with what you can lose, what you're okay to lose. Ikiwa kwamba umepata mshahara wako leo, usiweke yote kule. We keep telling you, keep playing responsibly. Usicheze wakati wa kazi. It's a leisure. Let it not be a job. Let it not be kitu ambayo bila hiyo hauwezi fanya chochote.
The Karen Hospital has marked 20 years since its establishment, signalling its evolution into one of Kenya's private multi-specialty healthcare providers. The event brought together by the hospital's leadership and brought together the leadership, the staff and key stakeholders to commemorate 2 decades of operations since its opening on March 31st, 2006. The celebrations also featured recognition from long-serving employees, or rather 4 long-serving employees, as the founder, Dr. Dan Gikonyo, credited staff commitment and leadership for the institution's growth. As it marks the milestone, the hospital says it is now focusing on expanding its range of services and strengthening patient care, building on 2 decades of experience in Kenya's private healthcare sector.
If you go to Kenyatta University Hospital, nearly the whole cardiac and cardiovascular team there is a branch of Karen. These are guys we have trained here. They are surgeons, they are cardiologists, they are ICU nurses, they are theater nurses, they are cath lab nurses. These are products of Karen Hospital. And I see Kenyatta University Cardiac Unit just as an extension of what has grown from here, Karen Hospital, and many others. If you look at all the cardiologists in this town, many of them have their roots in this hospital, and we're happy about it. From a humble beginning at Tusker House, Insurance Plaza, Nairobi Hospital, and now finally here in Karen.
We look ahead with confidence to an even greater future, and truly the best is yet to come.
Folks, thank you so much for choosing us to inform you this evening. That's all we had time for. But we have a lot more info on our website. TV47 Digital is where it is all at. Please follow us there on all the socials, and we'll keep you informed on what's happening across your world. My name is Victor Muyakane, and Catherine Simaloy in sign language, of course. Together with everyone that brought this to you, we say good night and God bless you.